here. And if you can hear the water running in the background, you know what's going down. We are doing just a little AMA while I'm folding laundry. I had a bunch of chores to get done today, but I wanted to talk Hillary Clinton and the gang. Hillary has now responded to the indictment of Sussman, who was obviously connected to her and what? The Democratic Party. Imagine that. Imagine that. And I had to go all the way to Rockfin. I think I was kicked off on YouTube to check out my Leslie, I think it's Leslie Stahl of 60 Minutes, interview with Donald Trump pre-election. I think it happened on October 25th or 26th. We were within 48 hours. And just go over the no, and me sitting there going, hey, look, again, Donnie T isn't my favorite of all time. I don't think that there's secret indictments and white hats everywhere ready to stop the bad guys. Okay? That's fiction. But to say they didn't spy on his campaign, before we even get to that, I really want to reach out to anybody out there, okay, that hasn't realized that they spy on all of us, right? No, let me continue with this. Everybody's already spied on in this country, and as many people as they can get around the globe. Let's start there, okay? Start there with my little part of my hair and my backwards ball cap. Now, regardless of what your chances are at winning the presidency, as soon as you were to announce that and have any plausible way of garnishing any type of votes, okay, we're talking, if you were to get 1% of votes, you would immediately be on the radar of the military-industrial complex, the deep state, whatever you want to call it. Immediately. There was also a slew of public information out there, a slew of it, that this had already occurred, and the media continued just to gaslight everybody. No, it didn't happen. He didn't get spied on. Of course he got spied on. Of course he got spied on. Like, what planet are you living on that you didn't realize that Donald Trump was spied on? Okay? Get your questions and comments over in the left-hand section, by the way. We'll try to answer some of them for sure as they come up. I want to say hi to Brian, who is in the chats, Mr. Tyler Durden himself. Keep showing the truth. You're waking people up, free-thinking Americans, just like Obama saying the NSA doesn't spy or listen. Of course they do. Think about this. Clapper, another one of these demons, pre-Trump administration, sits there and lies under oath, no problem, and tells you that they are not taking just vast amounts. They're taking it all the digital information they can, plus. That's their thing. It's their gig. Okay? It's what they do. You're fooling yourself otherwise. You're fooling yourself if you think right now during this COVID-19 84 nightmare, you're protected by the Constitution and Bill of Rights. Please. So in that respect alone, it was absolutely absurd for people to not realize that Trump was being spied on. Now let me flip the script on you a little bit. Let me flip that script. It would have also been absolutely absurd and farcical for you to believe that the actual military-industrial complex, the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, any three-letter agency out there, did not know the factual origins of the QAnon nonsense, okay, where it went from, I believe it was 8chan to 4chan, and then to 8kun, right? Or somewhere in there. 100%. They absolutely knew that. And instead of telling everybody how it started and putting it out there, first of all, Trump leaned into it. You have to admit to that. He leaned into it. Instead of saying, being straight with the American public and people and saying, look, I know I have a lot of a base that believes in this stuff, but the real world is actually a lot scarier than even, people feasting on adrenochrome and babies all the time. The scary thing is that I'm the president and I can't get our troops out of Afghanistan. I'm the president, and when I start talking about leaving Syria, false flag attacks that aren't even really attacks happen in Duma. Okay? And then I double down and send missiles. That's what he should have done, but he didn't. Instead, he let a bunch of people farcically believe that someone was coming to save them. And now a lot of people farcically believe that, like, Elon Musk is going to save them. Oh, yeah. Old Muskerdo. The old Musk, he's going to save you. Muscarino. What do we got? National Reconnaissance Office? Jail cell Burmis? Guys, this is what we got for our laundry room. Our little back room area. I know it's not much. I know it's not the sets you're used to and me putting up articles and stuff that we talk about. But every once in a while, Jason Burmis has to fold his boxer briefs. Jason Burmis isn't going to be saving anybody but himself. The one musketeer. Again, it's like with Peter Thiel, So I was talking to, and I'm not trying to blow up his spot here, but I don't think he's going to mind me talking about this conversation. I was talking to Ben Askren because Ben is another creator that's on Rockfin. And by the way, if you don't at least have your free Rockfin account, I would encourage you to go get that free account. Go check out all my stuff uncensored there, because my stuff is no longer, able to be even close to uncensored on this platform. Period. Just not. Okay, and I'm talking to him, and at one point, I start talking about Peter Thiel. Because Peter Thiel is invested with a lot of these up-and-coming Republicans that are, again, they're being presented as saviors, right? They're being presented as saviors. Now, let's go back to Russiagate for a second. How many of those Republicans still sat there and goes, oh, Russian misinformation and Russian interference in our election? Huh? Think about that. A ton of them. They're all played out. And you think about how much stuff got censored on Facebook. All right, first let's start with Erica Caramello Bar, with that person being the whistleblower in the first impeachment, right? Before the Ukrainian Johnny nonsense that was just over the top. I couldn't even believe that it happened, but it did. And there's a certain section of the public that still thinks that somehow Russia was colluding with the Trump administration and Trump was doing a bad thing by wanting an investigation to be continued that had been stopped by Biden himself, that he talked about literally in front of a bunch of goons at the CFR sitting next to Richard Haas. Wow, how'd that happen? So I'm talking to him, and I'm talking to him about these Republicans, and I go, Peter Thiel just left the board of Facebook to get behind these guys. And he's like, well, I thought Thiel was one of the good guys. One of the good guys? Why? Because he was Trump's technology advisor for a point, and then he left. And he always sat on the board over at Facebook, even when he was doing that. So, again, pro-narrative management, pro-censorship. What did he do to stop the censorship? What did he do? They didn't want him because he told the truth. Who's that? Oh, Trump? Listen, Trump, again, had so many problems. But as far as, my lifetime, still the best president out there. And I don't aggrandize Reagan at all. And that's not saying much for Trump either. It's funny because, no matter what you think about him, I had Sky Daddy, a.k.a. Coin Daddy, on the program. I think it was last week now. And she said, he's funny. He makes me laugh. She's right. She's right. He is funny. Yeah, Warp Speed, ridiculous. Called out from day one. Terrible. Not pardoning Snowden. Not pardoning Assange. Continuing to go after them. The counterintelligence defense strategy 2020 to 2022. All terrible. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Have you covered the nudge program implemented in the UK? I have not. What is the nudge program over there? Is that how they use psychological warfare against the people to get them to acquiesce. Here's another fun fact. So, my brother, he's going to be visiting in short order. Very excited about that. Let's see. And I'm on the phone with him, and he's got two little kids, as we know. One just over a year old now, and the other one probably almost 4 at this point. And I hear him in the background running around, kicking and screaming, "Daddy this, Daddy that." Love it. It's hilarious. It's cute. They don't have a pediatrician anymore. You know why they don't have a pediatrician anymore? Because their pediatrician refused to take the booster. Okay? Just saying. Bent the knee for boop boop 1, boop boop 2. Said, you know what? I'm not bending the knee the third time. Fired. Fired. You're out of here. Later. Later, sauce. Goodbye. Goodbye, Ski and Hutch. We'll see you later. Because that's what we want to do with medical professionals that we've entrusted the health of our children with for years. You know, when they finally show a spine and they stand up for themselves, we want them no longer to be able to practice medicine. And I do not know whether this is true or not, but my brother, and if anybody out there in the Burma Brigade, this would be very important. Very important. Something I'd have to probably cover immediately, even though I'm doing all these chores and folding laundry and doing it all right now, okay? My brother says that Kelly Hochul, the unelected governor of New York that likes to eat wings at the Super Bowl maskless, well, a bunch of kids are still masked up in school, right? Just saying, she likes to do that. Formed a committee, and that committee passed the legislation, which isn't a law, but they're going to act like it's a law, where, remember, they wanted to take people who didn't test positive for anything, had just maybe possibly been exposed to somebody that they think that could be a danger, and they wanted to be able to forcibly separate families and put them in isolation centers. He says that went through in the dead of night yesterday. Now, I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's the case. But if anybody can find anything on it that Hochul and the gang did this, they formed some committee and passed some type of legislation yesterday, that's what I need. I need that in my DM and inbox immediately. That's something we got to highlight, we got to talk about, we got to bring some light to, period. No doubt about it. No diggity dog doubt about it. Yes, that is in New York. The madness of New York does not end. And let's talk about the Canadian truckers. Let's talk about the fact that now those people are openly being discussed. Not just, listen, they've already been slandered on a massive level by being called bigots and racists, okay? And now domestic terrorists. Awful. Total Johnny nonsense. Totally not true. Not only that, but many of them have now been arrested for, peaceably trying to protest and block those bridges. They've had their bank accounts frozen. Now they have said that they will literally not only close your bank account, but cut your insurance so you can't travel. That's a big one. They don't want people mobile. You know how much freedom a car gives you? Okay, do you understand? Like they don't want you mobile. That's why they put Pete Bootlicker as the transportation secretary. That's why he's telling you they don't want one death on the highway, because they plan to have totally automated vehicles that not only have kill switches on them, but then can be moved in any direction, anytime they want. They want, before that, to control you through taxation of your travel per mile, which is ridiculous. And then on top of that, they want their track trace database society of cameras, okay, there to not only surveil you, but charge you every time you speed. Huh. Weird. This is the takeover. This is the takeover. This is the takeover. This is the takeover. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about Bob Saget. Okay? And I want to be really careful with this one. because there are just so many people out there that think that every celebrity death has something to do with foul play and a cover up. And there was that fake news period where there were real, they try to call real journalistic outlets that don't go with the narrative fake news, right? But then you look, and there were actually these outlets that proliferated in, the 2010s mostly, where there was always a secret source. Somebody was always on the inside of the Illuminati. They'd always killed all these celebrities, all these different things, right? Fitch just shared a photo with me. I wonder what that is. Right? All those different things. And those people never got criminally charged. Their websites kind of got taken down. You never heard from them again, right? It was all just, real slick how that operation worked. Now with Bob Saget, people were asking the obvious, what had happened, because they said he died in his sleep, and they said there was no signs of foul play. And then they said that we're getting 2 photos by Fitch. I might have to go get my other phone and check it out in a second. Thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. So you have all this going on, right? And where was I? Now I lost myself because Fitch is sending me stuff. What do we got in there, Burmese Brigade? We're talking about, what were we talking about? Because I got going, and then Fitch said he was sending me stuff. What do we got? Send me something. Thumbs it up. 4956. Sag, what's that? Bob Saget. That's right. Thank you. So they say that Saget, see, I would have totally lost it right there, that nothing happened, no foul play. He hit himself on the head, and then he went to bed, and then he didn't wake up. That's not what happened. Okay? Now, obviously, everybody has seen this other famous comedian who did a comedy bit about multiple boops all over, and then people think it's part of the bit, but she falls over and cracks her skull. Now, that woman has since went on Dr. Drew. She's got sunglasses on. Anybody can do it. And she asks, she basically is curious whether or not that could have been a side effect. And all I'm going to say is Dr. Drew says, side effects usually take place within 2 to 3 weeks. I don't know what happened to Bob Saget exactly, okay? But let's say he was alone in that room, and they said that his head was basically had contusions like that of falling downstairs or being hit with a baseball bat. I would imagine that he would have had to have some type of a seizure-like event, grand mal seizure, where repeatedly, again, from what we know about the multiple strikes on his head, and they're now saying he was in the bed and in the headboard, he probably, again, whether it had anything to do with 3 boops or not, he probably had a grand mal seizure and maybe some type of a heart issue on top of it. I did see that Ivan Reitman died. I just assumed his status, but it's not something I've talked about. They did say he died unexpectedly as well. Ivan Reitman, a true comedic genius, by the way, made me smile, made a lot of people smile with his films and comedy. Definitely want to check that out. Listen, I'm going to run over. I'm going to get my phone. I'm going to go see what Fitch sent me. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. Get some other questions and comments in there, and hopefully we'll come back and take some. Let's see what we got sent here, guys. Well, it'll probably be some kind of a crazy news story. Oh, we got we got some Fauci memes. That's what we ended up having. What we got here? What's everybody talking about? Let's see. Games are fun. I love that he's doing his laundry. You bet I'm doing my laundry. That's how we do it. By the way, guys, you want to support me? Please, we're going to do something hopefully other than the GoFundMe because of what GoFundMe has now done. Yeah, I've seen all the clot stuff, of course. But I might be very sparse in the next few days as well. My brother is coming up. Have you listened to any of the presenting from the Modern War Institute? No, I don't know if I've seen the Modern War Institute 2018 speeches. Don't hold up any underwear. They're usually boxer briefs, so it's not like you're going to get some kind of like weird scantily clad thing. Yeah, I mean, listen, Let's talk about the coverage of Russia, by the way, and what happened to Zero Hedge, and how the Associated Press and others parroted some nonsensical view that Zero Hedge was now promoting Russian propaganda. Ooh, the Russian propaganda. What? That they had drills, they ran them, and then they actually left, and none of you would report that Putin said he had no desire to invade anywhere, but he just does not want the NATO expansion. And then, when he threatened to possibly nuke Europe within the blink of an eye and asked the press to cover that. But let's take Zero Hedge down. Zero Hedge. Okay. Guys, I rent. Sorry, Google account, I rent. I'm not going to be finishing anything. Russia will not be baited by the president of Kyrgyzstan. What? 5-11 in the UK? Yeah. Listen, we talked about how Pfizer was ready to be set up to do the basically 6 months to up till 5 years old, and they wanted the 3 spot, and it looks like they've withdrawn that. Listen, go watch what Veritas just dropped yesterday. Has anyone not seen that? Where you have the guy that works at the FDA basically saying all these are done deals because the money's behind them and they already got the emergency use authorization. Gross. People thought this was, if you ever thought that any of this was about your health, wake up, wake up, wake up. Okay? Please stop. Think for yourself. Yeah, at least well, I'm not going to be slipping or falling or any of that Johnny nonsense. None of that. Nostradamus predicted a lot of Johnny nonsense, and we don't think about Nostradamus predictions. That's not how we do our thing here. We're not into fairy tales and unicorns. But do you have a free Rockfin account out there? That's not a fairy tale or unicorn thing. Moderna CEO also seems to have dumped a whole lot of stock. Yeah, it went down like 70% after that. Let's see. Let's see. The FDA is the government branch of Big Pharma. Yucca, yucca, yucca. Yucca, yucca, yucca. Let's see. Yeah, Andrew, listen, you don't understand. Andrew was never going to jail. Ever. That was never a thing. So we covered it yesterday, but I was trying to explain to people, just like I tried to explain to people on UK Talk Radio. There was never a chance, ever, of Prince Andrew going to jail for anything, as there were no criminal charges. Ooh, they stripped him of his crown. Ooh, he got stripped of all those things. Oh, the royal family excommunicated him. Give me a break. Stop. And it does suck that it was settled, out of court in that manner, because I was hoping that there would at least be more. There probably wasn't going to be a lot more evidence that's already not out in court documents, by the way, guys. But more attention drawn to so many other people that were involved in that network. Again, you look at how that went down. It was Whitewash McGee. What are you talking about? That Veritas video was deceptively edited. Are you okay? Are you all right? Do you not understand what's going on? What? It cuts through to one small scene at an obvious point. Yeah, but they have hours and hours of that, bro. You don't? Did you watch? Listen, I can't really talk about the content of it, other than the fact that obviously they're talking about done deals with Big Pharma. Oh yeah, no, of course it is. Listen, all I'm going to say is that you'll be surprised at the length that these Veritas relationships happen with these people. Yeah. Okay, yeah, good. What I'm saying is, a lot of them, you see 2 or 3 minutes. Sometimes you see 2 or 3 of these dates. Sometimes they're seeing these guys for over a month. Okay? These people that they're seeing, I'm not going to give away the craft, but let's just say that they're think signature reduction. Think fake social media accounts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Think real spycraft that they're using. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. 100%. So, but at the same time, You know, Veritas is very much run like a business. Everybody knows how I feel about Eric Prince. I'm not a huge fan, and they're highly funded. You know, we talked about the golden handcuffs with Clay Clark in regards to Charlie Kirk and others. Let's see. Mouse and what? Oh. Mouse and cheese? Cat and mouse? Mouse-a-roo? Oh, I have so much laundry to do. Or fold anyway. Let's see. Facts. What else can we talk about, guys? What else do we have coming up? Let's see. The guy even complimented on being a good journalist as he was getting thrown under the bus. Listen, I wish we had real journalists. What about the DNA harvesting? So, if you watch that, it's very deceptive. So they're talking about not only how they're collecting, what she's talking about is the CDC tweet that if you were getting the PCR nasal swab test, it looks like it could have been rerouted to a lab for genomic testing. All right. Now the spin of this, and it's not really spin because it's definitely part of it, is that this is how they're helping to identify the variants, right? The mutations in the virus and the variants. But if you watch the Wired piece, you'll notice that they actually talk about how part of the DNA they're sampling, right? The tissue that they're throwing is in fact human tissue. So all those people that were joking and making ha-ha funnies and laughing, that the testing might have been part of some DNA program where they were harvesting DNA data on top of it, you decide. Go watch the Wired piece. Again, they gloss over it, but I think they show the colors of the virus that they're mapping, and then they show you which is the human content of it. So, again, you decide. It's up to you. Let's see. Put vinegar in your Washington, get the best clean for your clothes. Well, that's very nice of you to tell me all that. Is it true Marianne Schwab, whose maiden name is Rothschild, is the mother of Klaus? I don't know for sure on that. I'd have to look. Nuremberg Part 2 would be a failure. Guys, again, Nuremberg Part 1 got 22 Nazis. There's a lot more than 22 Nazis that were involved in what happened. And a lot of them got rerouted. Andy Jacobson, Operation Paperclip, Area 51, the Pentagon's Brain, 1st Platoon. Okay? Surprise, kill, vanish. Yep, every felon does. I'm not a felon. Vades, I know. Get ready. Buckle up. Oh, all right, guys. I think I'm going to let you go. I figured I'd get this broadcast in, do some of this folding. I got a lot of other stuff to do. We will talk soon. Thumbs up, subscribe, and share. Remember to go over to the Rockfin. At least make that free account. It's another great way to support me by making a premium account. Make sure you're endorsing Jason Burmis. Hey, what's up with Iowa? Yeah. And you do that, you get to see it all, and you get to see everybody else's stuff. So I love you guys, and I will see you all on the flip side.